Alright, before we even get into this, pause for half a second. If you like honest K-pop talk, if you like long deep dives, and if you like opinions that aren't just copy and paste praise, make sure you subscribe right now, like this video, and drop a comment letting me know you're here. It helps the channel so much and it tells me you want more content like this. And one more quick thing before we start, especially if you're watching on mobile. There's a feature called Hype on YouTube Mobile. If you swipe on the comment preview or tap the little options, you might see a hype button. If you have it, please hype this video. It genuinely helps the algorithm push my video to more people, like way more than you think. If you don't have it, no worries at all, just being here already helps. Okay, now let's talk. So today, we're talking about Jennie's MMA performance, and I want to make something very clear from the start because I already know how this goes. This is not hate. This is not anti-behavior. I am not a Jennie hater. I actually enjoyed the performance overall. I liked the remix. I thought it was top tier. The choreography was good, the dancers were amazing, the stage design, the transitions, the styling, the camera work, all of that was on point. This was a strong performance package. So if you came here looking for blind hate, you're in the wrong place. If you came here for an honest opinion, stay with me. Now, the reason I wanted to make this video is because the more I watched the performance, the more things started to stand out to me. And I feel like nobody is really talking about it honestly, or if they are, they're getting dragged for it. But we should be able to talk about performances critically without it turning into a war. Let's start with the positives, because there are many. The remix was fire, like genuinely good. It felt fresh, it felt powerful, it fit the MMA stage perfectly. The choreography was tight, way tighter than some of her previous solo stages. The transitions between songs were clean, the pacing made sense, and the dancers absolutely ate. The creative team did their job. From the lighting to the outfits to the way the performance flowed, it was clear that a lot of thought went into this. Coming off of Coachella, this performance was way more controlled. Everything looked more rehearsed. It didn't feel messy. It didn't feel rushed. On a technical level, this was one of Jennie's more polished stages. And that's why I think people are praising it so hard, because compared to some of her past solo stages, this was an improvement. But here's where my issue starts. And again, this is not hate, it's just observation. Jennie looked tired, like visibly tired, and not just near the end. You could see it pretty early on. There were moments where she looked out of breath while barely moving, and that's where it gets confusing. A big thing that stood out to me was how much lip syncing was happening. Yes, there were live parts, I'm not saying she didn't sing at all, but a lot of the performance relied heavily on the backing track. There were multiple times where she would start a line and then stop halfway through. Like she'd begin singing and then just let the track take over, and once you notice it, you can't unsee it. The second half of the performance is where it became really obvious. Her energy dropped, the vocals dropped, and by the time we got to the ending, it honestly felt like she gave up trying to sing most of the lines. The ending is supposed to be the big moment, the part that leaves people shocked, and instead, it felt flat because she looked exhausted. What makes this even crazier to me is that when you watch her rehearsal or dance practice video, she actually gives more energy there. And I know some people will say, well, she's not singing there. And yes, that's true. But that kind of proves the point. If you're going to lip sync most of the stage anyway, then at least give full energy in the dancing. Because right now it feels like neither is fully happening. And this is where the comparison comes in. I know people hate comparisons, but they're unavoidable in performance-based industries. Take Lisa, for example. Lisa is also known for lip syncing, and that's fine. Not everyone is a powerhouse vocalist. But when Lisa steps on stage, she performs. She gives energy, she gives face, she gives intensity. You feel like you're watching a show. So if you're not going to sing live like your life depends on it, then you need to dance like your life depends on it. You have to pick one. This is a huge stage. MMA is not a practice room. It's not a fan meeting. It's one of the biggest award shows. And when people start calling this one of the best MMA performances of all time, that's where I personally disagree. Not because it was bad, but because iconic performances have something extra. When you think about legendary award show stages, you think about acts like Big Bang 21. Performances where you couldn't imagine anyone else doing it. The confidence, the stamina, the presence, the vocals, everything came together. It felt once in a lifetime. With Jennie's performance, I didn't feel that. I actually walked away thinking, other people could do this too. And that's not an insult. That's just being honest. I can think of multiple artists who could perform that same stage with stronger vocals or stronger stamina, and that's where the criticism comes from. I also want to talk about stamina, because this has been a conversation around Jennie for years. Inconsistency, getting out of breath quickly, energy dropping mid-performance, and after watching this stage, those concerns are still there. If this was an 8-minute performance and she struggled, it makes people question the idea of a solo tour. A solo tour requires endurance, night after night, full sets, and based on what we've seen, that would be very difficult. Some fans will say it's not her fault, that she's being forced, but at this point in her career, that argument doesn't fully work. She has her own label, she has creative input. If she struggles with heavy choreography while singing, then adjustments should be made. Tone down the choreography, change the arrangement, do something that supports her strengths instead of exposing her weaknesses. And this is where I think overglazing becomes a problem. Praising the bare minimum doesn't help an artist grow. If everything is treated like a masterpiece, there's no room for improvement. This performance was good. By Jennie's standards, it might even be her best in a long time. But good does not mean untouchable. I also want to say this clearly. I enjoyed watching it. I had fun. I don't regret watching it. I think the dancers were insane. The remix was stuck in my head. I will probably rewatch parts of it. This is not me saying it was trash. It wasn't. But enjoying something doesn't mean you can't critique it. And as K-pop becomes more global, it opens itself up to global standards, global comparison, global criticism. That's just reality. Another thing I noticed is how people reacted to this performance. A lot of the praise feels exaggerated because the expectations were low. When someone is known for inconsistency, any improvement feels huge, and that's kind of sad, because it shows how low the bar was to begin with. I genuinely hope this performance pushes Jennie to keep improving. I hope she takes the praise, but also reflects on the weak points, because she has potential, she has star power, she just needs consistency. At the end of the day, this was a solid performance. Not revolutionary, not history-making, but solid, and it's okay to say that. Before we end, I want to ask you for one more thing, because this actually helps the algorithm a lot. If you're watching on mobile, there's a feature called Hype. If you swipe on the comment area, you might see an option to hype the video. If you have that feature, please use it. It genuinely helps more than you think. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, comment the phrase, honest takes only, so I know you watched the whole thing. I really appreciate you for being here. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts. I want to know if you agree, disagree, or somewhere in the middle. As always, keep it respectful, and I'll see you in the next one.